Hello, everybody. This is your host, Gabriel Mustaciuolo, with the first Gen Trailblazers podcast. This is going to be the first episode, and today we have our guest, Tobi Goodkin.
Hello. I'm so
Thank you
happy
for
to
thank
be
you for
here.
coming.
Of course.
So as this is the pilot episode, this is the first episode. We're gonna be talking. This podcast is gonna cover a lot of entrepreneurship, a lot of what it's like being in college. Kind of like life goals, aspirations, things like that. Mostly all focused around entrepreneurship. But today we're gonna see where this goes. We're gonna have a fun little chat, and we're gonna talk about what it was like, not only starting a business in college, but having to go through COVID and all of that. And hopefully, you guys listening out there, maybe you're in the same boat, or you want to start your own company, and you're in college, or maybe if you're not even in college and you're a young adult and you want to start your own company, maybe this will inspire you. So to preface this, Tobi and I are friends. We met each other last semester, so in 2023. We're both grad students in the Jim College of Entrepreneurship. So, that's how we kind of formed our friendship. We had some classes together. But I want to hear a little bit more about you, Tobi. Let's hear your background a little bit.
Okay. So I was born in Fort Lauderdale, and my family moved to Atlanta when I was around 3 years old, and I grew up there till I graduated high school. And I came to Florida State because I was born in Florida, so my parents had that 529 Florida prepaid money plan. And I was just telling Gabe before the podcast that I am really happy I ended up at FSU, but I had a lot of familial pressure to go to the University of Florida because my dad's a Gator, my neighbor's a Gator, and that the hatred for FSU runs deep.
It was real?
It was real, but I hated the University of Florida when I went to tour it. I felt extremely overwhelmed. I did not see myself thriving there. But when I went to Florida State for the tour, I remember just being like, this is it. Like, I don't really.
This is a spot. I don't have to go see anywhere else.
I didn't. And, I could have gone somewhere in Georgia as well, but everybody from my high school goes to the same two colleges. And so that's another thing. I came to Florida State. There was one girl from my graduating class that came here, but we were not friends. So I basically came here not knowing anybody. And I would honestly recommend that. It's not for everybody, but I do think it allowed me to really be who I wanted to be without any...
kind of like a clean slate.
Exactly. Like there was no pressure to keep up whatever I was doing in high school. And like, honestly, I was not a very good person in high school. So I think it was for the best that I got to redo some things. I got to meet people how I wanted to meet people, and I got to do what I wanted to do. So I think it was for the best.
Okay. Yeah. No, I feel like I can kind of relate with that story a little bit. So like in theme with the name of the podcast, I'm a first gen trailblazer. I'm a first gen college student. So in my immediate family, and that's a little repetitive, but I'm the first one to go to college or university in my family. So I also wanted to stay in state because, bright futures and, just like in-state tuition's a lot cheaper. I applied to 7 universities. I got into 6 of them.
Nice.
Most of them were in-state. The only one I didn't get into was Columbia, but I botched my my application. I got sent 2 application offers from them, one from Columbia, one from the Columbia School of Engineering, and I submitted all my paperwork to the Columbia School of Engineering.
No.
And with my SAT and ACT scores, I was definitely not going to get in, so that kind of hurt me, but it's okay. So yeah, same thing with you. I only toured 2 colleges. I went to UF and FSU. Mostly because my mom didn't want to road trip me anywhere else.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, those are going to be the 2 and that's it. I kind of get your feeling, but UF, like the comparative to our campus, I love FSU's campus. Like nothing against like UF, but it is kind of like, it is like Florida State 2.0 basically. Like that's like the history behind it. I actually got a full ride to go to UF and I turned it down.
Wow.
I almost got a full ride here just about, but for undergrad I got a full ride. But I turned down like a really nice offer from UF, and I was like, I want to do entrepreneurship, and they don't really have it like
That's
they do
true.
here. So I turned it down. Do I regret that? Not really, because as a freshman, like even as a freshman with my scholarship money, I kind of blew through that. Like I wasn't that smart with my finances as a fresh 18-year-old. But
Who is?
no, nobody is, of course. But with you, and we've actually never talked about this, but I feel like I kind of had the same experience too. Is like nobody I knew was coming to FSU. There was two people. One of them, she's a really nice girl. I think she was on the she wasn't in marching chiefs. She was like in the color guard kind of. Really intelligent girl. She like she graduated like early. She like already got her master's degree like last year. She's like my age. And my really good friend Andrew.
Yes.
But unfortunately, his freshman year he stayed home to save money, which was smart. Like he did online schooling, but he saved money. So I was up here by myself. I didn't know anybody, so I was like, okay, that's actually kind of cool because like nobody really knows who I am.
Exactly.
Not that I acted any differently. I always act the same no matter who's around me, but it was kind of nice to like, you know, have a fresh start.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily act different either. It's just when my hometown was like a small hometown north of Atlanta, and everybody knows everybody. And so I had been going to school for 18 years with the same people that knew me when I was 5 years old. And you can't really, once people have an image of you, it's hard to shake it. And so that's more of what I mean when I got to be more myself. And it's like, I had something I was going to say. I was very introverted in high school. And, you know, being in college, you can be introverted, that's fine. But being a freshman, it's really important that you kind of get out of your, like you step out of your boundaries, get out of your comfort zone. And so the way that I made most of my good friends that I still have, some that I lived with for a while, was either on Instagram. I saw that they had FSU in their bio and they looked like cool people. So I'd just DM them and be like, oh, are you going to FSU? And they'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, oh my God, let's meet up. Or one of my good friends, I saw her in the dining hall. And then later we went to the same club meeting completely. We didn't know each other. We just had the same interests. I was like, I knew you were cool. And she was like, who are you? What are you talking about?
Ooh.
And then we became really good friends. And I would also see cool people on campus and just be like, hey, you look really cool. Do you want to go thrifting sometime? I have a car. And they would be like, yeah.
Having a car as a freshman, that's kind of like your golden
it's a
ticket.
flex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents let me bring my car.
Yeah, I'd be like, I have a car, so let's go drive around and find a Goodwill or something. And again, those are the three ways I met people. Instagram, just calling people out on campus, or telling them, hey, let's go thrifting. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm like now just learning more about you. It's like I'm kind of like the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I was super outgoing in high school. I was like
Okay.
really outgoing. I was like president of 3 or 4 clubs. Everybody knew me. I was friends with everybody. I was in like 6 clubs by the time I graduated. Like I did it all. I did everything except for sports. I wasn't like very into sports. But when I came here, I was like, damn, I really don't know like who to talk to. You know, like I was like, oh, I get to meet all these. I did meet a lot of people freshman year. I just didn't like a lot of them.
Yeah.
So like I really only hung out with like my suite mates and my roommates.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't really hang out with many people until like the later half of like freshman year when I started. And this kind of like brings me into like the entrepreneurship topic is like when I met my partner. She happened to live in the same dorm hall. So that through her, I started hanging out with more people, her roommate, her suite mate, her friends, stuff like that. So like that kind of like helped me like, cause like I did the same thing, not gonna lie, I was like, we knocked on everybody's doors. We're like, blah, blah, blah.
I
like,
did that.
I met everybody on my floor. Half of them were cool. Half of them were like, oh, why are you knocking on my door? This is weird. And also it was COVID too. So it was like, no, everybody was like, like I don't know, like that's a little weird. Like, are we supposed to be distancing?
Yeah.
And then you have the kids who are like, no, 30 people in a dorm room, like party, you know, don't worry about what's COVID. It was always test. It was like, don't test, don't tell. That was like always the thing. Yeah.
Sounds like something else.
Yeah, it sounds way worse than it is.
But yeah, so for context, I am a year older than Gabe. So I came to FSU fall 2019. And so my spring semester was cut short because of COVID. And I was in a course learning about the Black Plague that spring semester.
Oh my God.
And I never follow the news. I am not.
Do you still follow the news? Have you changed?
Not really.
So you are uninformed about world news.
I'm not uninformed. I just get.
How do you consume news? What outlets do you consume your news through?
Like social media.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
The Daily Mail on Snapchat?
I don't use Snapchat.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't use Snapchat.
Yeah.
But anyway, so for some reason, I really decided to start looking at the news every morning before class. That's spring semester, spring 2020. And so I was following along with what was happening. And I remember because the day the world turned upside down was March 13th. The day the world
stood still.
Yeah, it was Friday, March 13th. And
that probably makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it was Friday the 13th. And it had to have been the Tuesday before. And things were starting to get really bad. And I decided, I had like something in my head. I was like, I got to pack up my car. Like, I got to put the things that I'm going to need for a long time in my car, and I need to go home.
Were you in a dorm?
I was in a dorm. Yeah, I was living in the honors dorm in Landis. Yeah.
Okay, valid.
Slight flex. And so, again, nobody knew that anything was happening. So my friends are looking at me like I'm insane because I'm like running through the lobby. I'm putting things in the trunk of my car. I look like I'm bonkers. And my friend, she told me, she said, Tobi, it's fine. Like, yeah, we heard that we might have to go home, but it's only going to be for 2 weeks. And I said,
yeah, calm down. Like, shawty, calm down.
Calm down. And I said, no, I know what's happening. We're not going to be back.
I took a class on this. I know what's coming.
And I said, I know we're not coming back for a long time. And they said, yeah, okay, whatever. And I was right.
And so you're like, got him. And even it was really scary because my professor of that Black Plague course, he was saying, he's like, I've never lived through something as similar as the content that I'm teaching. Like, I don't know what to do. Probably like his dream come true.
Nah, he seemed a little, he was tweaking.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so yeah, my spring semester was probably a lot different than yours.
Yeah. So, so that spring I was still a senior in high school. So I was like finishing up. I was going to go on this trip in a club. And so literally the day we're supposed to leave to Orlando to go on this like club trip, like I had everything. And then like, they're like early in the morning, like, or maybe it was the night before, or maybe, damn, this was a while ago. So yeah. I'm having a hard time recollecting, but it was like, oh, it's canceled. They canceled the event. And I was like really pressed because this was my last time as a senior. I could like do this trip. And I was like, damn, okay. Cause I was practicing. I was like practicing for it and everything. Like it was like a competition. And I was like, all right, well, at least we get like an extra couple days of spring break. Then, I was like, oh, 1 more week. Okay. 2 weeks for spring break. Awesome. It's like, okay, rest of March. Oh, all right. Yeah. What are we doing? Like, come on, we got like 3 weeks off. It's like, okay, not till April. It's like, are we going to come back to school? It's like, now you're not getting graduation. It was like, oh, this is pretty serious. And at the time, I was working for I was working at an Asian grocery market. It was called La Rice Oriental Market and Bakery. And the owners were from South Korea. His name was Mr. Jin, really cool guy. Little difficult with the language barrier, but he was a great guy. Yeah. And that January, like February, he had us like start wearing masks at work. And he's like, why are Americans like this? He's like, you get sick in like Korea, Japan, like you just mask up. It's normal. There's no like stigma behind it. Like people don't think you're weird or anything. He's like, Americans are stupid. I was like, oh, whatever, Mr. Jin. Like,
yeah, whatever.
And then once March hit and it was like getting pretty serious on the news, like the first cases in Florida and blah, blah, blah. I was like, my grandmother was living with me. Well, she's lived with me my whole life, but I was like, I think I'll quit for a little bit. I don't want to get her sick. Mm-hmm. So I ended up quitting. He never gave me my job back. I tried coming back like 3 times. He never gave me my job back. Even though it was like, he was still open. Going to college, like during COVID, it was like really awkward. Like it was we weren't as strict as other universities. I know some universities
Yeah.
down south are really strict with their regulations. Like they had like universities that had like double and triple room, like triple person dorms. It was only one person to a dorm. Like
What?
you'd be in a one person would be in a triple. That's how like OD they were about their COVID regs.
I mean, that's kind of nice, but also
No, but
like,
you still had to pay for it. That was their single. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So no, it wasn't kind of
mind.
nice. And then the COVID fee, like the Zoom fee for classes. But this is kind of what got me started with my business. So like right before that summer, probably I downloaded TikTok, or maybe it was like
yeah, it was that summer when TikTok blew
I was
up.
like, all my friends had. I was like, I don't want it. I don't want this damn app. Like I already have Instagram. I already doom scroll through Instagram. I'm gonna have another app for that.
Yep.
So I downloaded it and I started seeing these people make rugs, and I'm like, that looks kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I was like, I think I got can grasp like the business aspect behind it a little bit better than these people could. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And this was September of 2020.
Yeah.
And so I go and I found this girl who lived on my floor, or lived on the floor above me, was an entrepreneurship major, and she was like, okay, I don't know if I want to join you yet. I like the business idea. I was like, okay, well, do you know like anybody else who might be interested? And she's like, yeah, there's this girl on the second floor. She's an interior design major. That'd be like perfect for her. I was like, bet. I literally like the next day or that night, I took my roommate with me and we like knocked on their door. I was like, is Samantha here? And her roommate answered. She's like, yeah, 1 second. And she's like, there's somebody here to talk to you. And I was like, so-and-so told me you were an interior design major and you lived here. I have a crazy business idea. Do you want to go get coffee tomorrow?
Oh, nice.
And literally like that.
Wow.
That's how it started.
That's pretty cool.
And that was probably really weird because she was like, later on I found out she was like on the phone with her mom at the time. She's like, and her mom's like, who's that at the door for you? Why is there like a weird like boy at your door? And I was like, I just want to start a business. I have no other intentions.
I promise it's okay.
So going off of that, like because you run a company, and which is I'd like to
so I have
like a little plug,
slight plug. It's ending though.
I know.
Really
all good things come to an end though.
So this is actually kind of good timing because I'll give the backstory. So my small business, it's called Tobi's Thrifts and Things,
Great stuff, by the way.
Thank you. So I started, it's a consignment business. I rent a space in the Other Side Vintage, which is one of the biggest vintage stores in Tallahassee. It's in Railroad Square, which is an art park. And it was the same time. My first month was September 2020.
Oh my God, twins, business twins.
No, yeah. So I remember I had always been shopping there when school was available, when it was in person.
No COVID,
fall 2019. I remember, so every first Friday of the month, the art park stays open late and they have food trucks, they have live music, and all the stores are open.
It's called First Friday.
That's what I said, the first Friday of every month. Yeah. And I would always go to that, the fall 2019, my first semester of college. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. They don't have anything like this back home. The community is so great, and I love all these stores, and I love the Other Side Vintage. They had all the stuff I wanted in there because I was selling stuff online on Depop, and I just really wasn't happy with the sales. I wasn't happy with the shipping process. It was a lot to do and not a lot of return for me. It was more work and more money lost than gained. And so I asked them, I said, do you guys, it had to have been fall 2019 or early spring 2020. I said, do you guys have any openings? Like, do you guys take random vendors here? They said, yeah, that's basically what we do. Like, we have around at the time, I don't know what they have now, but they had around 40 different vendors in there. And they say, just email us, let us know kind of what you're looking to sell, and we'll get back to you. And I said, okay. And then COVID happened. And then I decided to come back to FSU, even though things were online, because that's the fall 2020, because I did not want to live at home and I still wanted to have an apartment, have somewhat of a college life.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and so I went back to Other Side in the fall, in September, early September, and I said, what do you guys have? Do you have anything open? They said, we have the cheapest and the smallest booth available.
I'll take.
I said, give it to me. And so they did. I got the first month half off. So I started September 15th. And yeah, so I have been selling I go to thrift stores, the whole resale business before the market became saturated
Super
with
saturated,
it.
yeah.
This was before it really got popular.
So you did it before it was cool.
Basically.
Basically, like, you were in it before everybody else was.
Yeah, before it blew up on TikTok, before, fashion bundles, all those things, everything started coming together. Yeah, yes. And so I've been doing that. It's March 2024 now.
Mm-hmm.
So almost, if I kept doing it till the fall, it would have been 4 years. And over that time period, I have since doubled my space. So I have 2 booths right next to each other. And at the end of this month, so in about a week, I'm closing one half. And then at the end of April, I'm closing it all.
And why are you closing down?
I'm closing it because their rent is too expensive for me. And they were kind enough to let me keep the same rent for the months of February and March, because in January, they told me, hey, we have to bump up the rent. And I said, okay, well, I'm leaving. And they said, okay, don't. We'll work with you for a little bit. And I said, all right, I'll leave at the end of April. And that also goes with the summer months. Nobody's here over summer.
Yeah.
And it is honestly, it's like throwing money into the ocean. So not doing that anymore.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, for us, like, we, for those of you, I haven't mentioned this before, but I make rugs. I'm one of the co-owners of High U Rugs. I've been doing it for, it's actually it'll be 3 years, officially 3 years in April. So we soft launched in February 2021. But yeah, summer, because my target market's mostly college students, we've kind of branched off a little bit from that, but it's nice to be able to sell in Tally in person. But during the summer, probably just like a lot of other college towns and cities, it dies down. Kids go home for the summer. They go on vacation. They do anything but stay. Well, those who stay probably have apartments or things to do in the cities that
Probably
they live
working.
in. Probably working, yeah, or like an internship or something. But like Tallahassee usually dies down during the summer, which is actually kind of nice.
It is nice
if you're staying.
If you're not selling something.
Yeah, if you're not trying to make money and
it's
you're
great.
not like a food place, then it's great.
Yeah.
But everything else, I feel like a lot of businesses here get hit hard during the summer with
100%.
like lack of, especially the bars and the clubs.
Yeah.
Nobody's here.
Totally.
Yeah. So maybe they should do some discounted rates this summer and we can all enjoy it.
No, yeah, because I also work at another shop in Railroad Square. I'm not going to say which one, but definitely the summer is tougher.
Yeah, for sure.
Than the school months.
So as a young entrepreneur, as a college entrepreneur, going through COVID, and going through school, what have been like some of the like things that give me your highs and lows. Like, what were your highs and lows in your last like 3-4 years of doing this, of running your company?
Okay. So I remember I got the booth, the first one, the cheapest and the smallest, and I went back home, and there's a thrift store that I still go to, and I remember I spent $90 on goods.
That was probably a lot of stuff.
It was, well, no. Like, at the time, that was a large portion of my bank account. Like, that's still a lot of money to spend on thrifted goods. But, I mean, within the first couple weeks, like, I had probably doubled that in sales.
Wow.
So it was honestly gratifying, because I was in the parking lot with my ex-boyfriend and just being like, I can't believe I spent so much money. Like that's so much money. Yeah. Like, what if this stuff doesn't sell? And, he was great at the time. He was like, don't worry. Like, everybody's going to like your stuff. Everybody loves your style. You always get compliments. I'm like, yeah, true. But, so that was probably a high of just being like, that was a high point.
It was your
it worked.
It was your validation.
Yeah, I was validated that what I'm doing is working and people want what I have. I would say I probably hit my peak sales probably like 2022, maybe like late 2021.
Honestly, I think I could like kind of feel with that too. Like 2022 was a really, actually, I lied. No, I think 2022 was a pretty good year for us, but so was last year too. It was a pretty decent year.
No, I would definitely say it was a steady incline.
2021 to 2022.
2022,
Same,
and then
yeah.
2023.
Yeah, I get that. It's it's how business works.
Yeah. I haven't necessarily had many lows aside the summer months. Horrible.
Yeah.
But I've learned a lot. In the beginning, I was kind of grabbing anything that looked good. I didn't look for brands. I didn't check if things were actually vintage. I didn't check if it was Shein versus some real brand. But now I've definitely got more specialized in the skill. And with that, which could contribute to the decline in my business, is that it's much harder to find actual good stuff. And so when you do find actual vintage things, you have to price it higher because it's worth more. And
yeah, it's like supply and demand.
Yeah,
and there's only
supply
going to
and
be
demand.
so much more vintage clothes out there in the world. I mean, granted, nobody's like, there's probably still a lot.
I'm sure there's still a lot, but with the market being saturated, finding actually good stuff.
Yeah, what your channels of like what your resources are.
Yeah, because I was at the Goodwill bins before the Goodwill bins were a thing. Like I was there in 2019 when it was just the locals, and now you go in there and
it's like the hype beast.
It's literally
resellers.
the hype beast.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It is not a fun environment to be in, and I was able to get a lot of things for a really low price, and now it's just
it's like a
fighting.
free-for-all.
Yeah, it's fighting to get things. So in a way, I'm not disappointed that
you're going to be out of the game.
That I'm going to be out of the game. It is a little sad, but I think I've had a good run, and not many people can say that they've had a small business throughout their entire undergrad and essentially their entire grad school.
Valid. No, yeah, 100%. I think we're kind of on something similar, my partner and I. Like we're both in grad school. I graduate this year. She graduates next year. We both want to start a career. I want to start another business, but I also, need a job to pay bills and have residual income. So, we're having discussions now, where we want to take our company and, what to do with it when we both don't have any more time to give to it, or more so like, I don't want to say we need to like grow up, but we started our company. It was an experiment.
Yeah.
I saw everybody ask me like, well, how'd you start your company? It's like, oh, I saw a TikTok.
Yeah.
So, that's not really a good foot to start off on. But, I treated it like a school project. I was like, I want to start a business. I want to go to FSC for entrepreneurship. I don't know what I want to do, but I'm going to do something, and I want to do it soon. Like I was like itching to start a business.
Yeah.
I tried to start a couple businesses in high school with some friends. Didn't really work out. One of them was like a clothing line. We had to GoFundMe. Got $100.
Nice.
And then we closed it down and like split the money. We didn't do anything. 50. Yeah, $50. And what was funny was $50 from one of my family members, $50 from one of his family members. So, it was just like a gift at the end of the day. That didn't go anywhere. I tried starting a soap company with my girlfriend. That didn't go anywhere. But I tried. I really wanted something to work.
You wanted something to work.
So, when I found my partner and I was in college, I was like, you know what? It's COVID. There's not much to do. Classes are online. We had a lot of free time, and a lot of professors were kind of like forgiving with the work and stuff. They're like, well, we've never done this. Yeah. We don't know what's going on. You definitely don't know what's going on. We're like, cool. So we had a lot of free time. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a business with this free time. I'm not going to, some people during the pandemic, like either like, you changed your life around or, things got worse for you. A lot of people handled it differently. And I was like, I want to do something with all this free time. Well, I can't say that because like right when the pandemic hit, I was pretty lazy. I was like, chilling.
I think everybody kind of enjoyed the lull for a little bit. And then once they realized what was really happening, it was like, oh. And when people couldn't leave their houses, it was like, oh. Because, But I wonder if COVID didn't happen, if our businesses would have even started, because I didn't think about that, how that fall 2020, I did have a lot of free time, with class being online. I wonder if I would have even thought about doing it. I can't remember why I decided to
I wanted to ask you that, like what actually was like, let's do this.
I think
Was it just something in your head? You were like, you need to talk to those like other side people. Like you thought it was cool, or were you low key down bad for money as like a freshman? Like were you like,
honestly,
I need
both.
some cash?
No, I was still doing Depop fall 2019, and it was not working. Like I was trying to sell things out of my dorm room. I had a ton of stuff back home in Atlanta that was just sitting there getting dust in my room, and I'm like, this is good stuff. I just am not able to.
That you can't like you couldn't penetrate the market.
Yeah, and so okay, another important point here is that I have these booths in other side. I do not have to be there to sell things. They have employees that they hire that work there. I just come in whenever I want, usually once or twice a month, and I load up the space. They don't provide anything. Like I had to get the clothing racks, the hangers, the tags, the merchandise, everything. But with that, that's the reason that I've been able to do this for almost 4 years, is because I don't have to physically be there. And with selling things online, you also don't have to physically be there all the time.
You have to like pack the stuff.
You have to pack the stuff. You have to take the photos. You have to upload it. You have to do measurements. Like, so yeah, like I could keep talking, but it's just like I was the vice president of Thrift Club for 2 years at FSU.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if you knew that.
I have heard of a thrift club. I didn't know you were the VP.
I was the VP for 2 years.
Okay.
Probably like the longest standing member, because it was in COVID too, and we didn't feel like doing another turnover.
Okay, that's pretty cool though. That's cool.
Yeah, so with that, I was the head of the Depop committee, and
you were like, this sucks.
It sucked. Like it was horrible. Like it took such a long time to take photos, because we had one of the club members be the model, and even switching out of clothing takes a minute.
Yeah, trying on different outfits for sure.
Yeah, and you have to edit the photos. You have to upload them. Again, measurements, pricing. You had to go to the thrift store to find the stuff first, and it was no. So online selling, I could maybe do it as like a little side thing in the future, but for that to be my main source of income, it's just not sustainable.
It's not. Well, there are people who probably I have met some people here like that's like they eat, sleep, and breathe that. Like, but they're like, or especially people like we have stores here in Tallahassee like where like one of them's called Picked. It's right in this place called College Town, and they kind of their niche is like old FSU merch, and like but he has a storefront now. He does pop-ups. This is kind of like his bread and butter.
Right. And we're students. We don't have that kind of time. When that's your sole income, thing to do that day, you're gonna do whatever you want. You're gonna hustle. Yeah, you're gonna make it work. But as a side gig, I needed something that I did not have to physically be present for, and it was like the perfect.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. I kind of had a little stint in like reselling stuff too. I was all like my whole entire high school, like I always wanted to be a hype beast, and I know that sounds stupid looking back on it, but I always loved sneakers. Like I can blame my mom for that. I think when I came to now I have like a modest, like I have like 6 pairs of shoes, maybe like 7. I'm not counting like dress shoes or boots or anything like that, but like sneakers and stuff. But like when I was in high school, I think like when I came to college, I had like 20 plus pairs of sneakers.
Oh my God.
And like I was just like addicted. Yeah. I love shoes. I still do. Not as much as I used to, but like I was selling on StockX for like a year before I came to college. And like right into college I was still selling on. So I got my roommate into it. So we would like, because we were like in our dorm rooms during class, 11 o'clock, Supreme drop. We tried to hit on the app, the Nike's app, everything. We tried everything because this was like, I didn't have money for like bots or anything like that. Yeah. So we were doing it all manually. And so we like never hit anything. Dang. And I missed out because like there used to be this sneaker store that I actually used to work at. I used to do raffles there. And when I won them, that's when I would resell my sneakers. So I would like, okay, what shoes are coming out? What's the projections looking like? And then I would like, I take my mom, I take my girlfriend, I take like my girlfriend's little cousins. I like whoever I could like get another raffle ticket in for. Yeah. I used to like sometimes with my grandma, everything. Wow. I tried everything to get as many raffles as I could. And it was funny because there was a skate shop too, called 561, and they always used to get the crazy like Nike SB Dunks, like the Grateful Dead ones, like all the crazy ones. And I used to like, I never camped out, but my freshman year, like when I came home for breaks, I would like if they were doing like a live raffle, like an in-person raffle, I'd show up. And like one morning I had like a math exam to do, like a final.
Yeah.
So I got up at like 6 a.m., blasted out the final, drove there. And like by the time I like waited in line, they're like, sorry, we just ran out. So once I got to college, I was like, I don't know if I could do this anymore. I don't have like the means to do this, to be good at it. So I was like, I think I'm done with the reselling. I think I ended up selling like probably $1,400 worth of sneakers.
That's pretty good.
Profit was a little bit less than that.
Yeah.
But it was like $1,500 through my StockX account. I sold a couple other. I tried getting anything like Funko Pops, Disney merch.
Wow.
Like weird stuff. I tried Supreme. I ended up keeping some of the things from Supreme because I just couldn't get them off my hands. I was like, hey, at least it's my size. So, I'm not going to complain. I have one Supreme shirt that I could not pawn off. Like nobody wanted the color. It was like yellow, yellow. Yeah, I'll wear it.
Yeah.
I gotta wear it someday. It's not very attractive. People are like, what does that say? Because it says like, it's like Supreme, but in like smoke. And you could like barely make out that it says Supreme. So it's like I might as well just wear like a neon yellow shirt and be like, yeah, it's Supreme.
It's like highlighter yellow.
Yeah, it's horrible. But I still wear it on the occasion though.
I feel like you could sell it. I feel like
nobody wanted it. It was
maybe
literally
at the time.
No, at the time that was like that color sucked. Nobody wanted, and I ended up with that color. I was like, damn, that's tough. But yeah, no. So I understand what it's like trying to sell stuff online because I also like I created like an Instagram account for this and try to sell like back home and like. People were just really stingy.
Yes.
Like didn't want to give you what it's worth. So
that's like one regret I have with the Instagram, that I did not make an Instagram account for my business when it started. Because I honestly, like, not to toot my own horn, I feel like at the rate that things have been going,
thousands of followers.
I would have a lot of followers. I probably would have gotten like TikTok famous or something. Like,
you probably would have. You probably would have blown up. Like, get ready with me.
Exactly. Yeah, not even that. Just like the way that we talked about this in one of our classes last semester. It's like content creators, though, I'm not explaining this well, but the way that they display the clothes that they're selling, it's like they flip through a pile of them and they do it in a way that it just looks really visually appealing. But anyway, I feel like I could have gotten really into that. I feel like I could have, it really would have demonstrated how I started and where I'm at now and like the growth that I've made and, the specialization and whatever. That's just one of the biggest regrets I have. Like, I wish that I could have done that.
Honestly, though, I feel you because we've had an Instagram account from the beginning. We kind of like rebranded it a little bit. We actually rebranded once, just switched up our color palette and like our logo. But that's the biggest thing we struggle with because like for us, like we're hand making our products. So, doing the business side, making the products, selling them, everything, and then doing the marketing on top of that. It was just a lot. Like the biggest regret I had was like not getting better at my marketing, my Instagram earlier on and TikTok. Like we're on our second TikTok account and some of them have done really well, but it's like now in grad school and like having to create content, it's really hard. Like I last year I got a marketing intern and she's still with us. And I will say it like, I will preface this. She doesn't do a lot of work because I'm bad at giving her work to do.
Yeah.
So she's not a bad intern. I'm a bad
boss.
I'm a bad intern. I'm a bad boss in the sense that like I don't know how to like. I think I could definitely have employees. I think I can have it. I don't know what to do. Like I'm lost. And then I was like, well, then they're like, well, what should I do? I'm like, I don't know. What should we do? So she's kind of helped in like the creative process a little bit. She's done some photo shoots for us. She's a great person. And she kind of wants to go into like marketing and fashion. So doing something like us kind of helped like with her goals and aspirations. But yeah, no, that's my biggest regret was like my marketing sucks. I wish I could do better at this. Like if I could, and I've met people too in college who like do marketing, who do social media stuff. And they're like, yeah, we'd love to help you out. Then I get a quote. I was like, oh, I don't have the money for that.
Yeah, no.
So it's like, I would have somebody do my marketing for me, but I can't afford the rates that these college students are charging other other young business owners.
Like, come on.
You can't, we were in the same boat, like relatively at the same time. You can't help me out. Yeah. So it's like, damn. So.
Yeah. And it was like, my my drops, like when I would go and put more
new
stuff.
release coming out.
Yeah,
slide out to
new goods, slide out to other side.
Slide out to other side.
It could be most of the time it was over 100 items at a time.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's a lot of photos.
Yeah, I can't post 100 photos.
You should have done like a lookbook.
Right, I should have.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah, I'm just complaining now. Like,
yeah.
I'm just pissed at myself because I'm sure there were multiple different ways I could have gone about it. But at the time, it's
you were confused.
Yeah, it was very
overwhelming.
Difficult. And I had this same thought 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, but I'm already 2 years in. It's too late. No, it's not. I should have started it.
For people listening, it's never too late. Just
too late.
Whatever you need to do for yourself, for your life, for your business, it's like get it done now, or it's gonna hurt you in the future, and you're gonna be sitting here like us. You're like, damn, you know what? You could have done that.
Yep. If you think it's too late, it's not. Just start it. Like
it's never too late.
It's a little too late for me now because I'm ending it. But biggest business regret is not getting out there and doing the marketing.
I think. On top of the marketing, my other biggest business grant, I don't know. Are you registered in the state as an LLC? Oh, you are? Okay.
No.
No?
Okay. I'm just like it
was
a hobby. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would, well, my
I
biggest.
pay taxes though.
You pay sales tax?
I do pay taxes.
Okay. Pay taxes. I think my biggest regret was going legal really early. Yeah. And so we won a competition from Florida State that April. And we needed to have, they wouldn't give the money to not, you had to be a business entity. And that's fair. They want to make sure their money's going somewhere legitimate. So I had to create an LLC, I had to get an EIN, I had to do all the proper things you're supposed to do when you're starting a business. Mm-hmm. But what I didn't really have a good grasp on, and it's funny because in high school, I was QuickBooks certified. I was never good with accounting.
Yeah.
I was never good with accounting. And still to this day, it's still kind of bites me in the ass because that's 3 years worth of accounting that I've had to every year fix it and keep on myself to get it right. So that's my biggest regret because actually, funny story, our first year we paid late and I didn't realize we paid late.
For taxes?
Yeah, for business taxes. And I ended up almost owing the IRS a couple grand.
Oh.
And it was almost double to triple what we actually made in revenue that year. And I'm like,
there's no way.
I was like, there's nobody behind an IRS agent or IRS a representative oh, they only made $1,500. Yeah, let's charge them $4,500.
Yep.
Okay, to be fair, most of that was in late fees.
Yeah.
But the initial fee was a lot. It was almost half of what we made that year. And I'm like,
oh,
that's a little ridiculous for small business owners.
I have had this problem the whole time.
Taxes or
yes, the tax
okay.
Because I looked it up. It's when you're a small business, if you make over $600, it's the same rate for everybody. Mm-hmm. So if you're a small business making $50,000, you're getting charged the same.
Yeah, the taxes. Yeah,
if you made $20,000, which is ridiculous. I have a problem with the IRS because, my taxes would be a big old chunk of my profit that I would have to give away. It's I did not make that much in hindsight. I made a good amount, but the merchandise costs money.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah. So I would say don't go legal until you actually have the funds and you have your research done about that. Because it's different from every state. If you have sales tax or physical goods, it's different in every county. Then if you're selling in other counties or if you're shipping to other counties or other states, then your sales tax rate is also different. And there's so many fine details and fine details and rules and everything that you need to know that if you don't have somebody on hand or somebody you can ask, then you're not going to pay for that service to ask and get that done for you. Then you're kind of out of luck. Yeah. We benefited, and I wanted to ask you. We benefited because we had there was this guy was an alum from FSU. He's an accountant now. He's a partner at a firm, a CPA firm, and he kind of helped us here's how to pay your business taxes. Here's how to set up your sales tax. Here's how to pay sales tax. Blah blah. Blah. And he helped us for about almost a year. For free because he was an alum at FSU and we're students and so it was really nice. That really helped because if we didn't have him, and shout out to one of the professors, Miss Garner, she also helped me when I was so down bad with my taxes.
Yeah.
And I was taking her accounting class at the time, and she's like, she already knew I did accounting high school. She's like, come on, Gabe, you can't figure this out. I'm like, no, I need help. I need a lot of help. So she helped me for about the same time. She helped me for like a year almost. Like I would go to her office hours and like we would do that. And
that's really nice.
And it helped because, it was at the time I was learning it, it was like applicable. And then it was funny. She told me a story. She actually like ended up like the semester after, she actually used me as an example because there was something that came up in our discussions that she's like, oh, I didn't think about like that happening like with a small business. And I was like, it had to do with taxes. And I'm like, that's like accounting is accounting. Like, you could do it in an Excel sheet if you really don't know what to do. Like you could figure it out, but the tax implications of it, it's like, oh my God, you messed that up. You're getting charged. Or you're getting like the IRS is knocking on your door. Like, where's our money?
Yeah.
Where's my money?
So I'm using TurboTax this year. Like I
use Tax Act.
Okay.
For our business taxes.
I don't know. It's like, so maybe I just need to explain it better. So the way that my sales work at Other Side is that I pay rent first. Like I make no profit until the rent is paid.
Yeah.
And then from every sale I make, they take 10%.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Whatever. That's whatever. I do not pay the tax on those sales, but they do. Like, does that make sense? It's like the tax is not coming out of my pocket.
That's part of that 10%.
No, because I'm still paying taxes at the end of the year. Because they like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm like, maybe shady. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know.
So it makes sense because it's like I should have to pay taxes. They're my goods, but the business does that. They take care of the tax end, and then they send me like the form.
Okay, so then
like
that's
the 1099.
Okay,
form.
so then you're like kind of like a contractor then. For
Basically,
them. Yeah.
And so then
that's like perfectly fine.
Yeah,
okay.
That's not... I just don't know my tax info, but so they send me that, and then I have to figure that out on my end and like put in like my expenses, taxes.
Yeah.
All that fun.
No, yeah, I get it. It's not easy if you're not, if you're not aware. And what?
I don't know.
There's definitely a lot of business people who start businesses who like have no idea, and it hurts them.
No, I feel like specifically at Other Side, a lot of my good friends that work there sell stuff there now. Like they've decided to open their own booths there too. And it's like, I wonder if they know what's coming next tax season because I did not the first time. Like,
did you get charged?
I mean, I have to pay money.
Were you scared?
I was scared.
I was really, I had such bad stress for like 5 months trying to, it took me from the time I got the letter in the mail that I owed the IRS like a couple thousand to the time I figured out was like 5-6 months. And like, I was sick for like 5 months. I was that stressed. I was like, I was so stressed.
Not have to be paying that much. Like,
well, it was a lot of late fees. It was like every month I missed.
Bruh, why didn't you just pay it then?
Because I didn't know. But by the time they sent me the letter, I had already like acquired like months of late fees because that's what they do.
Due in April.
Actually, your business taxes are due in March.
Nah.
Yeah.
When?
March 15th.
Ruh-roh.
Oops.
Are you sure about that?
I just want to preface this for anybody listening. We are not giving out any legal or tax advice.
Do not take any advice from us.
Don't take no legal advice. No, this is all just like anecdotal advice.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yes. Look it up.
What do I even look up? Like
when our business taxes due, it's gonna be March 15th.
What's the difference between the taxes?
Because I have a legal entity. Do you have a legal entity? Okay, so you don't have to worry about it then.
Why?
I have a legal entity.
I
have a LLC. I have a multi-partner LLC. I have an entity that I need to worry about.
Okay.
But for me, okay, so how it works for me, if you have a LLC or a multi-partner LLC, because it's two, so that makes it multi-partner. So our taxes are due in March. It's a month before regular taxes.
Oh.
It depends on like your fiscal calendar or whatever calendar you kind of use for your business, but it's March.
I don't know.
So I pay my business taxes before March 15th. So I finished that like right before spring break. I was like, I need to get this done before spring break. I don't want to go on.
That's why you were tripping.
I don't want to go on vacation and be like, damn, I didn't get this figured out, but we did. Shout out to my girlfriend. She's a big help. So we got that done. And then, so what happens is I get a K1. My partner and I get a K1. And a K1 with an LLC, it's a pass-through. So your business files it, but then you, as one of the owners, as one of the partners, you have to file this K1 in with your personal taxes.
Okay, this is not applicable to me.
Yeah, okay, so it's not, okay. And then because it's like pass-through, and I want to make sure I'm saying this right. I know we have to we have to file the K1s for technically for the full filing to be complete, but also having an LLC, the way we do, it takes the burden off of us. Okay. So if our business went bankrupt, it wouldn't affect us. It wouldn't anything could happen to the business, and we're not liable because it's a limited liability corporation.
Well, so I wonder if other side is an LLC because it's if something happened to them, I'm not.
No, you're not liable.
I'm not liable.
No, but you're also because you said you got a 1099, you're like a contract. You're contracted out.
I wish it was literally in my bag.
Damn.
My tax forms.
Yeah, we could have done taxes right here on the show.
That would have been a good one. But yeah, so I should have brought them and looked at it. But no, I don't think
No,
I
okay.
think I'm doing April.
I think you're good. Yeah, you're
okay.
yes. Normal taxes,
crossed.
April. For those of you listening, if you haven't got your taxes done, make sure you get them done on time.
Yeah.
You can do an extension till October, so
That's such
5
a
years.
long time.
Yeah, I had to file that the year we messed up. I filed an extension.
I remember I got an extension. I think everybody did during COVID.
Yeah, now they're like, pay, don't pay, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, now then,
pay,
but
But it's cool.
Yes,
So while we're talking about it, I was in Yellowstone that first time I had to pay taxes. I was on a road trip. Me and my ex-boyfriend at the time were sleeping in the back of his car.
That's kind of fun.
It was awesome.
Yes. You see any bison?
Yeah, we saw everything. The only big animal we didn't see was a wolf, but apparently it was there.
That's probably for the best stuff.
Yeah, right. We saw a moose from far away, but this is so off topic.
It's okay.
There was a bull moose in our camping area, and it was there probably 30 minutes.
It was telling you to do your taxes.
Yeah.
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 It was an IRS agent disguised as a moose.
In a disguise.
You need to pay. You need to pay up.
Maybe, but no. So I was at the Yellowstone Lodge, and my mom's calling me. I have no service. I'm literally tucked in the corner of the gift shop using their Wi-Fi, trying to go back through my bank statements to figure out my expenses.
Oh my God.
So she could do it for me from across the country back in Atlanta while I'm on one bar of Wi-Fi trying to.
Did it work though?
It worked, yeah. I figured it out, but it took probably a good hour, and the shop people were starting to be like, y'all gotta go if you're not gonna buy anything.
Did you end up buying anything after?
I don't know.
You should have.
Probably. It was a while ago. But yeah, that was the first time I had to do my business taxes. And
you're
I was in the middle of nowhere, no Wi-Fi, no service.
On
vacation, living out of the back of a car for 2 weeks trying to just talk to my mom. And I'm like, I don't know what I spent the money on.
Yeah, when I got my letter, it got sent to my mom's house because that's where I had my LLC registered. So I was like, she's like, this is in the mail for you. And she sent me a picture because I was up here. I was like, she's like, whatever you did, whether you did it wrong or not, you need to figure it out sooner than later. I was like, I was like, it's like you are in a collection of $4,100. I was like, there's no way. I've never made that much from my business ever. Yeah. And then I looked into it. I was like, damn, okay, the late fees make sense. But I didn't know I was late. And why'd they send the late letter late? Or late after the fact, months after the fact.
Take your money.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hope no government workers are listening, but you know what? I think we need to remodel the IRS. I think there needs to be some changes. I think come on now,
come on. We're under 30, we should get
no taxation without representation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Bar.
Which amendment was that? Fifth one?
That was the reason why the founding fathers were upset.
Edit that shit out.
Okay. Which amendment was it? Wait.
What?
Okay, because then I'll know once I see that, I'll know to go back to just run there and edit that shit out.
You could leave it, but I would look really stupid.
No, I don't want you looking goofy on my podcast. So I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
I think this was a great conversation. I kind of want you to be on the show
I
again.
know, I'll be on this. This is fun.
Maybe
We should. Do you know who like Enya is?
no.
She and like Drew, they have a podcast called Emergency Intercom.
Are these like internet personalities?
Yeah, they're like internet personalities, and they do a podcast on random shit. I also follow this couple on YouTube, and they do the "Am I the Asshole" Reddit things,
yeah.
and they like debate and talk about it. Like that would be fun.
Well, I think I really liked the chemistry.
Yeah.
I think what we should do is because like you can see like, oh well, the green screen's in the way, but like behind that is like I was like listening like who do I want to get on the show, and there's certain people I just don't think I can get their time. So maybe we'll do an episode where you could be like almost like my co-host.
Talking to who?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We'll figure it out.
I mean, I'm down.
You're down? Yeah, I gotta
fun.
film like 2 or 3 more episodes, and then you can I think you're the first one, so you get it, so you kind of like understand it. So that would help in the future.
Yeah.
So if I could get your time again on Tuesdays, and I'll just do Tuesdays, and we'll set this up a couple more times. Not saying you have to be the co-host every time, and I don't want you to be like, oh well, I need to make time for this now. But
I mean, if it's as chill as it was today, then
yeah, no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be. It would. I'm not pressed. So, all right. Well, thank you again. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm happy we had a good conversation. This was a good first episode. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tune in next week for our next episode. Thank you.